if there is anything that we would like to present to you in a way and find enough analogies and examples to help you really get it, something that would serve you better than all other things put together that you will ever hear from us or anyone else, it would be that your perspective is uniquely yours. And if you could give up your determination to explain yourself in enough different ways to get other people to see it the way you see it, oh, life would begin being sweet for you right now. If you could just accept that everybody gets to create their version of reality and that you will waste your life in trying to get them to accept your version. Because the life that they've lived and the vibration that they're offering is the reason that they see it as they see it. You can live in the same community and have two very different lives. And what most of you say is, well, of course we live different lives. That guy lives in a mansion and I don't. Of course his perspective is different than mine. That guy inherited money from his daddy and I didn't. Of course we have different perspectives. That person was born da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. As you try to explain why you are not all living the same, you miss the only point that matters. You have different perceptions of reality over which you have complete control. But most humans do not exercise any control over your perception of reality because you're so busy dividing and defining and cataloging and pigeonholing reality into different piles and placing judgment upon it. Oh, that's a bad thing. Let's put all those bad things over there and those bad things over there, and they're different in their badness, but they're bad things. And as you spend that natural time defining whether you want it or not, you also, without meaning to, practice the vibrational frequency of the very things that you put in the bad piles. And then, because it's part of your vibration, it prevents you from discovering the good piles because your vibration's all wrapped up in what's in the bad piles. And then, we love you so much. You know what's coming next after that statement. And then, you look to something outside of you to make the difference. You look for someone else to fix it. It started with your mother or your father or someone up close to you. Please change this condition. There is a condition in my reality that I see that I don't like. And when I look at that condition, I feel bad. And I don't want to feel bad. That's the first thing you knew about yourself. You don't like feeling bad. So when you're looking at a condition and you feel bad, and you associate feeling bad with that condition, then of course it's logical, we get it, why you want that condition to change. But you are not the boss of those conditions. You are not the creator of someone else's reality. You cannot control the conditions. You are the creator of your own reality. So in your physical format, have you run across the concept or the notion of unconditional love? Been hearing it. A lot of people talk about it. Hardly anybody gets it. Most think that unconditional love means look at a condition that is horrible and love it. So you need a lot of practice at that. But you can't look at unwanted and be a vibrational match to wanted, so you're never able to accomplish that. That's what makes you want to define things and explain things. But we want you to understand that what unconditional love is, we're going to make it easier for you. Unconditional love, unconditional clarity, unconditional appreciation, unconditional alignment, because love and appreciation and clarity and eagerness and all of those words that describe good feeling, they all mean alignment with source, and that's what love is. Alignment, pure alignment, non-resistance. So unconditional love or clarity is about being in love or clarity We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. But it was not, the words unconditional love are not just a goal for you to accomplish. It is also the process by which to accomplish it, all in the sentence. Unconditional love means love. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. It means, do you know what it means? Can you feel what it means? It means withdrawing your attention from the condition that prevents the love. Unconditional love means the conditions, there are conditions that you love and there are conditions that you don't love. But when you train yourself to sift and sort for the best conditions, you train yourself to be a conditional liver. You're looking at conditions. And if there are good conditions, you feel wonderful. And if there are not good conditions, you feel terrible. But then you have no control because your reality is full of conditions. Have you noticed? There are conditions everywhere. Don't turn on the television, whatever you do. It will bring a myriad of conditions to you. The television news networks, they scour the planet for things that they know will frighten you. And they dramatize them and they put them on 24-hour cycles and they put music behind them and they bring them right into your living room. And they say, practice unconditional love. And we say, you just can't look at that stuff without the opinion of your source about it rising in a vibrational frequency that will let you know where you are in relationship with it, you see. So unconditional love means you got to decide that first and foremost you want to be in alignment, and if it requires withdrawing your attention from conditions that don't allow your alignment, then so be it. That's what unconditional love is. It's caring more about love than about perusing the conditions. It's about caring more about alignment or love, appreciation, clarity, than being right. Oh. That's hard to take, isn't it? When you decided to come forth into this physical body, you did not say, I'll go forth, I'll be born, splat. And I will find the right way of living, and I will convince others to come that way with me. You didn't say anything like that. You said, oh, what a wonderful world this is. The diversity of this time-space reality will provide for me the most wonderful format for new ideas to be born within me that can be realized by me. Not new ideas that can be born within me that I will then take everyone else by the hand and show them the error of their ways and the rightness of my ways. Not one of you said that. You were aligned with Source then. But then you get here and you don't feel so good, and your assumption is that the reason that you don't feel good is because that condition makes you feel bad. So then you set out to change a condition that you have no control over, and then you get defeated, and then you become so judgmental about the way others live. Those far from you, those in masses, and those up close to you. You know, I felt a lot better before you said that to me. You shouldn't have said that to me. You should not have said that to me. I was happy before you said that to me. But now you've said that to me. I'll never forget that you've said that to me. I'm going to use the fact that you said that to me as my reason to be miserable for the rest of my life. Oh, don't try to take it back now. It's too late. You can't take it back. My misery is my own. You're laughing, but you do it every day. Felt a lot better before that happened. If this condition were different than it is, then I would feel better. Maybe so. But if your feeling better is contingent upon that condition changing right before your eyes, you're in deep doo-doo.
Look, it's really simple.
Okay.
Your brain is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a record of the past. It's an artifact of everything you've learned and experienced at this moment. The feelings and emotions are the end product of past experiences, and we can remember experiences better because we remember how they feel. Yeah. So most people wake up in the morning and they start remembering all their problems, and those problems are connected to certain people and certain things at certain times and places. the moment they start thinking about those problems, they're thinking in the past. Those problems have an emotion associated with them, and the moment they start feeling those emotions, the body, as the unconscious mind, doesn't know the difference between an experience that's creating an emotion and the emotion the person's fabricating by thought alone. Now, thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So most people's entire state of being, when they start their day, is already in the past. So you have a choice. The choice is, you're either defined by a vision of the future, or you're defined by the memories of the past. And when you decide to say, okay, I'm going to change, and you decide one thing: I'm not going to eat this food, I'm going to wake up earlier, I'm going to do something aerobic, I'm not going to have sugar after 6 o'clock, whatever it is, the person, whatever choice a person makes, the moment you make a choice to do something differently, and the hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before, get ready, because it's going to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
It's going to feel unfamiliar. There's going to be some uncertainty and unpredictability, and that's the moment the game is on.
Yes.
So then most people, their body has been conditioned emotionally to be the mind.
Yeah.
So now the body says, wow, I'd rather hang on to my guilt than take a chance and possibility. I'd rather live in fear than trust in the unknown. So once the person feels uncomfortable, the body goes, whoa, wait a second, we're out of the program here, and body starts influencing the mind.
That's right.
So it says, start tomorrow, you'll never change,
Right.
you don't have the money to do this, you're not good enough, your mother told you were this, your father's fault, it's your ex's fault, you know, all of the voices that come up. Now here's the deal, if you respond to those voices, those same thoughts as if they're true, by the way, they're always going on behind the scenes of your awareness, but now they're amplified because you're outside your comfort zone. You believe in that thought's going to lead to the same choice, which is going to lead to the same behavior, which is going to create the same experience and produce the same emotion, and the person's going to say, this feels right. No, that feels familiar. Going from the old self to the new self is a neurological, it's a biological, it's a chemical, it's a hormonal, it's a genetic death of the old self. And people will say to me, in that void, in that unknown, I can't predict my future. And I'll say to them, the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown.
I love it.
So close your eyes now and think about that vision. Once you start thinking about that vision of your future, you're activating the creative centers in your brain. And naturally, you begin to think about putting yourself in the scene.
Yes.
And the act of doing that, when you're truly passionate and truly present, the moment you're defined by that vision, when the thought in your mind becomes the experience, you begin to feel the emotion of the event before it's made manifest.
Yes.
Now, you're giving your body a sampling, a taste of the future. And now, if a thought and a feeling create a new state of being, you're combining a clear intention with an elevated emotion, and now you're beginning to change your biology, and you're seeing a whole new landscape that you could never see before, because you're no longer viewing your future through the lens of the past.
I love this.
Now, this requires then something really specific, because most people will wait for their wealth to feel abundance. They'll wait for their success to feel empowered. They'll wait for their new relationship to feel loved.
They'll get all these things when.
Yes.
Right.
So think about that. The absence of getting those things causes people to live in lack their entire life.
That's right.
And so they're waiting for something outside of them to change how they feel inside of them. And if they're not creating a new life, then they're not applying the proper principles, then they keep all their manifestations, all their dreams at arm's length. Well, think about this. If you get up feeling gratitude, if you get up feeling empowered, if you get up feeling whole, if you get up feeling unlimited, why would you worry about whether it was going to come or not? You would feel like it already happened. This isn't something that you have to try to do.
Right.
You just have to get beyond the memory of your past and all the associations to create a new future. Now, theoretically, that sounds really easily, but everybody's done it at least once in their life. What happened? You get a wild idea. You get a crazy idea, and you think, what would it be like to be happy? What would it be like to be in love? What would it be like to be rich? Whatever it is.
Yes.
And you all of a sudden, you ask that question, and you turn on the creative center in your brain.
That's right.
It turns on.
Yes.
And then now the frontal lobe is is the boss, it's the CEO, it's the symphony leader. And the frontal lobe, as an executive, has connections to all other parts of the brain. Now, when you ask that question, it's got to answer it. So it's got to look out over the landscape and see, what kind of raw materials do I have? Well, you only have a few things: knowledge you've learned and experiences you've had. So it begins to call up different networks of neurons, and it begins to seamlessly piece them together, and you get a vision in your mind. That's called intent. And if you're passionate, you start to feel the feelings of when it happens. Now, you're giving your body that energetic boost. Now, everybody's done this. The moment you've said that, no one can talk you out of it. No person,
That's right.
no thing, no experience. You're possessed by it. So then what happens next? You start writing down all the choices you need to make.
Okay.
All the things you got to do.
Okay.
All the goals and experiences you want in your future. And every time you write one of those goals or experiences down, you start to feel more of those emotions. And now you're basically assembling more of your future. Now, the astute person does something really amazing. They start learning more information. You want to be wealthy? Study wealthy people. You want to be healthy? Study healthy people. As you begin to gain more knowledge, you're adding more stitches into the three-dimensional tapestry, and you got more raw materials to dream in new ways. Now, here's the part that is the most important. Take out a piece of paper and say, what thoughts do I have to stop thinking? I can't, I'll start tomorrow, I'm too hard, I don't feel like it, I have a headache, I got to go to sleep, I'm tired. List those thoughts and become so conscious of those thoughts that you would never let one of those thoughts slip by your awareness unchecked by you. Because the moment you can observe the thought and become conscious of it, you're no longer the program. Your consciousness observing the program, and you begin to literally objectify your subjective self, and now you're pulling out. So then write down the choices you have to stop making. Look at the things you have to stop doing. Are you complain? Do you make excuses? Do you blame other people? What do you do? List those things and be really honest with yourself. What experiences do you have to stay away from certain people at certain times and places? Stay away from them so that you are not in the environment that triggers it. And now here's the most important point.
Okay.
Write down those emotions that keep you anchored to the past, because those emotions are literally residue from the past chemically. So then the moment you start feeling suffering, the moment you start feeling guilt, the moment you start feeling unworthy, the moment you start feeling despair, or the moment you start feeling any of those emotions, you're back in your past.
Yes.
And you can't see the future. You're thinking within those emotional states. And we've looked at enough brain scans to say that when you think within a certain emotion, you're going to make your brain worse. The stronger the emotion that you feel from any condition in your environment, the more you pay attention to the cause. So the higher the threshold of the emotion, the more the brain narrows its focus on whatever it is in the environment that does it. And the brain takes a snapshot, and that's called a memory. So now people think neurologically within the circuits of the past experience, and they feel chemically within the boundaries of those emotions. Now you say to the person, well, what happened? The person say, this person did this to me, that person did that, then this happened. And the latest research on memory says that 50% of what you talk about in the past isn't even the truth. That you don't have the same brain then. So you make stuff up, which means now you're reliving a past that you didn't even have, just to embellish it, to produce the emotions, to reaffirm your limited state. When we react to something, the rush of those chemicals become addictive. Now, we begin to use the problems and people in our lives to reaffirm the addiction to those emotions. We need the bad job, the poor career.
Yes.
We need to watch the news because it works us up into that state. So we become like an addict that needs the rush of those chemicals. Now, when the brain is in emergency and it's living in this state, what happens naturally is we begin to pay attention to whatever the stressor is. Now, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So the stronger the emotion you have to your ex, or to your job, or to the news, the more you're giving your power away to that person or thing.